Have you seen Malik develop in his, 2.5 weeks here?
Yeah, no, he's done good. There's a little familiarity from his previous place with some of the things we do, so there's some carryover. But yeah, he's been working really hard and just trying to get up to speed as much as possible.
Is the actual play calling in the huddle for him an issue? I mean, I'm sure they call things differently.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is just, you're at a different place and you have a different scheme and everything like that. So just trying to learn the verbiage, learn the terminology so that you can communicate to the guys in the huddle what's going on. But he's doing a really good job with it. Not perfect by any means, but every day he's getting better. And yeah, he's been really working hard at it.
Go with one of those wrist things,
Yeah, we always have wristbands too to help them out. So yeah, that'll be definitely a thing. What does he do well? He's got good athleticism, good arm strength. He's got a quick release. So I think all that really helps him out making decisions and things like that and getting the ball out.
When you're evaluating opponents in the early portion of the season, is there a balance of it being a small sample size in terms of what you're looking at in tape only one game in?
Yeah, there definitely is, because every year, just like offenses put in new things, defenses definitely put in new things too. They may have their foundation, but you always got to see the new players they have, kind of how they play, the different DBs, the different D linemen, how they rush. So yeah, that's definitely a thing as the season gets going. When you have more film to watch, it helps you game plan for sure.
I know Runyon was a little banged up last year, and that was part of the reason for that rotation at right guard. Mm-hmm. What's the benefit of doing it with, I know Jordan has missed some time, but with two healthy guys, and how do you think it worked out on Friday?
I thought it went okay. Both guys had plays that I'm sure they'd like to have back. They weren't perfect by any means, but they went out there and competed. I wouldn't say either one of them grabbed the job and really said, I'm better than you. It's one of those things I think as the season goes on, maybe we'll evaluate it every game and just see how it goes. But, yeah, I think it's good for Jordan to get out there and play. Being a rookie, anytime you can get that playing experience is very valuable. And there were some really good plays that he had too. So I'm encouraged by what I saw from him for sure. And then Sean, just keeping him involved, keeping him playing. Yeah, all that. I kind of like what we're doing, to be honest with you, just to keep those guys involved and playing.
If one of them does separate themselves, would you like to get to a point where it's just one guy?
Yeah, probably. If one guy stands out to be better, I definitely would think that's better for the team. But as of right now, I'm happy with what they're doing.
The biggest difference was with the run offense and what you guys were able to do in the second half of getting Josh into a little bit more of a rhythm.
Yeah, I think as the game kind of progressed, you just saw us do better and better in the run game. Emmanuel obviously had some really good runs too. But that's kind of how the run game goes. You just keep leaning on them and keep leaning on them and you start popping runs. So I think that's a testament to those guys up front. As the game went along, you're kind of able to find those seams and wear them out. And then Josh hit some big ones, so it was good.
Steno, I don't want to get the Matt LaFleur. Do you want me to just give you the whole game plan? Because I'm not asking that. But you're potentially starting your backup quarterback. I would think that the Colts would think that you guys are going to want to run the football to take the pressure off of him. Probably going to want to load the box. They didn't stop the run very well last week. How do you put together a plan knowing the opponent is going to be anticipating you running the ball effectively or running the ball a lot? Mm-hmm. How do you manage to get your run to be effective when you're going to be up against them?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see what they do, obviously, and the runs you like that you do well too. And it's just one of those things that, all right, kind of as the game goes, you have to have your answers for whatever they're going to try and do. And I'm not going to be stubborn and pound my head against a wall. If they're giving us things in the pass game, we got to be able to take it and we got to take advantage of it. We have really good wideouts that can make a lot of plays. So I think as Malik gets more familiar with these guys as the week progresses, he's building that repertoire and that camaraderie with them that he trusts those guys to go out there and make plays. So I think I'm not going to say, we're just going to run the ball. We're going to take what the defense gives us, and hopefully that's good enough to beat them.
The way the Eagles played you in the early back, going with the linebackers, shooting gaps and things like that. Did that say to you, teams are going to come after your run game before they do anything else? Or was that just a feature of what they do once in a while?
Yeah, no, I mean, what they were doing last week, it was kind of not what we've seen in the past from the Vic's defense, so it was kind of different. But as we got going and we're like, all right, they're playing it like this, I thought we made some really good adjustments, and obviously we had some good results in the run game. So, yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens this week and do the same thing.
In the pass game, you hit quite a few explosives, but on the other hand, it was, I think Jordan was 45% completion at one point in the second half, and
Yeah, I think 50.
Yeah, he ended
For
with
the
50.
total, yeah.
Is there a threshold that, if you're hitting big shots down the field like you were chunk plays, does completion percentage matter? Is there a threshold of efficiency you want anyway to just get the big plays?
Yeah, I think there was a couple drops, and then there was a couple balls where I think Jordan would like to have back. So you put those together, and we make those plays, and we probably win the game, to be honest with you. No, it's one of those things that's just like you look at the stats at the end of the game, you're like, oh, wow, we were only 50% completion percentage when you just saw the success that we had throwing the ball in certain situations. So, yeah, we'll kind of just see how that goes from week to week. And if it becomes a problem, we'll have to have an answer for it.
Not an injury question, but is Marshawn Lloyd able to help you out? Is he ready to go?
Yeah, he's been practicing and doing a good job. So hopefully, as the week progresses, he can get in there and play and do all that stuff.
How many other ways can he read the ball, and at what point did you start to last year think, okay, this guy's different, and we can?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. The second game of the year, was it the Falcons? He scored on a jet sweep to the right on a touchdown, and then right then you're like, okay, this guy's got some juice. He's able to make some plays, make people miss. And, anytime you got a guy like that who's a punt returner or a kick returner, you just got to get that guy some space. And he just has that natural ability to find seams and play fast and make people miss. So that's one thing that, just like his returning ability really gives him that advantage when he gets the ball with a little bit of space.
Do guys this size get pigeonholed as slot guys? Because I remember Cobb in 14. It wasn't like he just ran routes from the slot. Like, he was a guy who could line up outside.
I think if we didn't have the guys we have with, like Dubs and Watson and stuff like that, he would probably be more of an outside wide receiver for us. But, we just are pretty deep. So we just primarily use him in those slot positions. So it's just kind of how it is right now.
The Colts had quite a few guys able to get after the quarterback last week.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of their front.
Yeah, they're a very good front. They do a great job penetrating. They're pretty deep across the board, and I think, you can tell these guys really do they work together in their pick stunts and everything really well. And yeah, it's impressive watching them. They're coached well, and they do a good job, again, with their twists and picks to create seams and get sacks. They're pretty productive. They're a really good group.
You thought of the way that Zach has kind of hit the ground running, despite missing as much time as he did to put together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by it. Like, once I saw him, probably the first day he was out there, full go, when he got back in camp, and I was like, wow, he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. So it was pretty impressive just to see him, just go out there and business as usual, be Zach Tom. So it was cool to see.
Steno, I asked this more as a positive Tucker Kraft question, but there also is the other side of the coin of, the split was 64-17 snap wise between him and Luke. Why?
Yeah, that was one thing, like, after the game we looked at, and we definitely don't want that. You know what I mean? As far as we'd like to have it a little more even, so that's one thing we're going to kind of try and keep evened out as the game goes, or as the season goes.
Is there something that, it seems like Tucker took a big jump in, every area of his game, maybe? Mm-hmm. Is there something that you need Luke to be doing a little more effectively to even that out?
Yeah, no, I just think we just got to do a better job as coaches managing that, for sure.